On this episode, we will be listening to the second of 4 cantos from my story, The Lay of Never Always. Enjoy.
The Lay of Never Always. Canto 2nd. Spring. When the winter, harsh and dreary, gave its way in turn to springtime, and the flowers, budding, rising, from the snow sent forth their fragrance, and the trees shook off their blankets, roused themselves from hibernation, put on robes of emerald splendor, and the brooks again went dancing from the mountains to the ocean, singing gladly as they wandered. Axes ranged out in the woodlands. 12 young men began their labor, felling trees and stripping branches, that they might construct a longship strong and sure to make their journey to the west and never always. Yet as often as they rested, fearful eyes turned ever seaward, full of dread and full of wonder. Only one looked on the water, and saw not his doom or sorrow. Only 2 eyes flashed with brightness. For long had they wished to venture on the strange and untamed water to the shore of never always. And each time to work returning sprang a new song deep within him, which he sang to keep the rhyme of each blow that dealt his axe head. He, the singer of the sea songs, was the first man that was chosen by the master of the tower. He was deemed the most unworthy to be given to his daughter. Yet out of the 12 companions he alone feared not the voyage, nor the fae that live in fairy, for his thirst for awe and wonder was not quenched while still in childhood. Light his heart did bear the burden, which did crush the hearts of many, and the hearts of his companions, for the sea had long been in him, in his heart and in his spirit, surging like the mighty breakers, calling like the wild sea birds, and her call at last was answered. He was going out to meet her. When the melting snows of winter had receded from the roadway, then the 12 deemed most unworthy did set out to start their labors, travelling by the coastal roadway till they reached a wood which ventured to the shoreline of the ocean. There they cleared a small encampment, there to live until the voyage, far from all their homes and kindreds. Then with axe and saw they laboured like a man who digs his barrow, for each axe blow brought them nearer to the shore of never always. A great pine, the tallest standing in that wood for many miles, made the mast when felled and stripped bare. From an oak tree came the keel, smaller trees made planks and rudder. From large branches oars were fashioned, all these brought they to the shoreline. There the longship they assembled. First in sections, keel and ribbing, took their form to shape the longship, like the bones of a great whale, white and bleached upon the sea strand. Then the muscles and the sinews in the form of planks adorned them, corked to scupper any leaking. Then the mast of single pine tree raised they high above the longship, spar and rudders, oar and anchors. Lastly did they fix upon her, with 2 figures strangely carven by the singer of the sea songs. Fore and aft were mounted on her. There she lay upon the seashore, like a mighty wooden serpent, staring forward, gazing backward, caught between the now and could be, like the men whose hearts she carried, with their hopes and fears for safety. When at last their work was over, came their people and their kindred, bearing gifts, supplies, and treasures for the voyage west to fairy. Many mothers, sisters, sweethearts, long had laboured since the winter, working at the loom or wheel, to prepare for them a sail, bright and gilded as a banner, that the wind might bear them quickly to the shore of never always, and then mayhaps swiftly homeward. Fathers, brothers, friends had brought them all the stores their trip required, salted meats and casks of water, to sustain them on their journey. And the master of the tower, as a gift of guilty conscience, gave to each a suit of armour, coats of mail and leather jerkins, tall proud helms with feather plumage, silver shields and swords of steel, spears of ash and horns of oxen, cloaks of navy, green and crimson. In these dressed the young men chosen, grim and proud they looked upon them, like an elven host in splendor. When the long ship, dressed with sail, had the stores all safe upon her, and the shields of all the 12 men gleamed in rows upon the bulwark, did the sailors, pushing, heaving, launch the ship into the water, and embarking without fanfare, bid farewell in utter silence to their kindred land and people, bending oars and setting sail, set a course for never always. 10 men rowed, 1 manned the rudder. That job fell to the old watchman, punished greatly for the rending of the great gate of the tower, exiled from the master's service. 1 man only at the ship's prow kept a sharp watch over the waters, for one only had the courage to gaze west to never always, he, the singer of the sea songs. Often did he turn to singing strange songs taught him by the ocean, and it seemed the oars kept rhythm to the music he was singing, and the long ship's creaks and moaning seemed to also follow with it, mixing with the wind and water, so to make a haunted choir in which only 1 man numbered. Yet whenever men lost courage, or their strength was close to failing, and they hearkened to the sea songs, life again surged deep within them, like awakening from a long rest, with a hot and hearty meal by a warm and cheerful fire. Though when every song was over, not 1 word could they remember. Many days at sea they sailed, through both heat and tempest fury, till their stores were all but empty, and no land as yet they sighted, when from through the mists of morning came a sound which them enchanted. It was like the song of angels, like the warmth of summer morning, like the cool of autumn evening. Sweet and strong it soon bewitched them, and aside their oars they casted, and made ready to jump over and plunge deep into the waters, which the voices singing told them was so full of joy and wonder. Ready were they to surrender to the voices which did call them, when another sang to halt them, he, the singer of the sea songs. Then the spell was quickly broken, for the other singers sang not, and the men looked round about them, wondering why they all were standing on the bulwarks of the long ship, looking down into the water. Each returned to oar in silence.
"Ah, forgive us,"
said a stranger, with a voice like rushing water, somewhere hidden in the fog bank.
"We knew not you sailed with them, mighty singer of the sea songs. Gladly we would bring you with us, share the wonders of the seabed, and the treasures which are plenty, laying deep within the water, which no mortal eye hath looked on. These brave few we would have taken, if you were not in their number. But we dare not halt your journey, for we know you are expected on the shore of Never Always."
"You have me at disadvantage,"
said the singer of the sea songs, gazing hard into the sea fret which pressed close around the long ship. But in vain he sought the stranger. He saw neither form nor figure.
"I know not to whom I'm speaking, yet I know by your strange greeting that you know me and expect me. Tell me then your name and purpose, why you hide yourself in greyness to waylay these harmless sailors. Tell me also, who expects me on the shore of Never Always?"
"We are Undine of the great sea,"
said a voice soft as the sea foam.
"Harm we do not mean to any. If you look beneath the water and seen all its riches, maybe you would know why we were calling and inviting you to join us. But we know you have an errand, and we dare not to delay you. We will speed you on your voyage, that you may reach shore by morning. Bend not oar, heed not your rudder. On our backs your long ship sails. We will bring you to safe harbour on the shore of Never Always. Ah, but singer of the sea songs, you alone must there discover why you've left the land of mortals, why you voyaged west to faerie, and the voice which called you homeward.
Though the men all shook and trembled, each lay down his oar or rudder. Then they furled and packed the sail, and with bated breath they waited to see what the dawn would bring them. Only one heart was not burdened, and slept calmly on that evening. He, the singer of the sea songs, who cared not what fate awaited, only knew he was expected, only wondered who awaited on the shore of Never Always. When at dawn the sun came rising from a golden sea of fire, shaking off the dark and shadow, hurling light upon the waters, to awake the weary sailors, they were drifting near the shoreline of a calm, protected harbour, where the white sand shone and glittered. Blinding bright in morn's awakening, formed a broad bay all around them, leaving but a narrow opening. Past the white strand lay a country, strange and wild and full of beauty. Soft green hills were clothed with forests, ancient as the earth's foundations. Fields of flowers lay like carpets, soft and warm and strangely woven. Brooks and rivers sought the ocean from the high and distant mountains. Songbirds sang with words which mortals understand but can't remember. All the hearts aboard the longship leapt for joy to see such beauty, yet they knew a dread and danger lay beside each oar and wonder, and they took up oar and rudder, and made set to beach the longship. Steady rowed they toward the sea strand, till she scraped along the bottom and came fast upon the margin. Then each man, his gear arranging, took a portion of the ship's stores, took his shield and spear and raiment. Thus arrayed in martial splendor, leapt each man from off the longship. In a line upon the white strand stood the men with armour gleaming, grim and tall their helms sat on them. Proud each man did face his exile, gazing at the far horizon, knowing not what fate lay for them. So arrayed upon the beachhead, each man marked far in the distance that which seemed to him the fairest, and at once each man departed, making for the spot they'd chosen. Thus they parted all in silence, scattered o'er the land of faerie. Only one man stayed still standing on the coast where they had landed. Only one man's eyes looked backwards, east across the shining ocean, he, the singer of the sea songs. When at last all his companions in the distance they were hidden, then he set out, but not inland, keeping ever to the coastline, gazing now upon the mountains, looking now across the waters, always sighing, ever singing.